Um, for us as a catering company, my name's Graham Roy. I'm the head chef and director. We've been involved with Karen for a long time now, and we were fortunate enough that we did the catering last year for them. Um, Unluckily, for us and for everyone, we weren't able to meet, as you said. But at least here we can go through and I just want to show a small, very simple aspect that when talking with Karen last year, I was describing to her how, as a catering company, we try and be as circular in our energy and in the food industry, and how that actually helps. So it's a very simple recipe. It can be changed to being vegan or vegetarian. There's some small little pointers in here which really helps with the aspect of food and in reducing your waste. And I just wanted to pick out a couple of the things here that will just aid in reducing your waste. Because, as Dr. Ayub Macharia had said before, there's over 6,000 tons of waste per day in Kenya alone, of which more than 60% is organic. And so from that, people go, well, it's only me in the kitchen, or it's only me and my family. It's very small amounts. But every person, it matters. And from that half kilo, 250 grams per day per person is organic waste. If we can use this organic waste, opposed to it just going to the landfill, and okay, yeah, biodegrades and therefore is less of an impact, but it's a wastage. And with this, we look at upscaling. So on here, we have our chickpeas. And I've actually, on this one, it's a tin, just so it's simple and it's what people will be able to do. Tin is recyclable. So that's the first thing that obviously goes straight back. Once rinsed and drained, you keep the chickpeas obviously to use in the thing, but the liquid that comes in with it is full of proteins. And people don't understand this. It's not something that actually should be drained and thrown down the sink. If you keep that, along with keeping your raw beetroot when you've peeled it. Once you've peeled your beetroot and you keep your chickpeas, the water from it, keeping this and using it in a compost is a very, very simple way of actually reusing and recycling, as opposed to it going into your bin or down your sink and into the ground where, okay, it'll be used because it's going through your septic system, but it would be better because it's high in protein that you can use it for something else. With Karen, from this simple thing, you can, when it's upscaled and you're upscaling your waste, you move forwards and it creates aspects of energy. So for us as a catering company, we do 2 or 3 different things with our wastage. So the first one we do is, I've got a friend who breeds black soldier flies. And these are now being used as a very high protein alternative for feed. And this is in the fish feed, chicken or pig feed. And it is, instead of using things like the smaller menna from Lake Victoria and the freshwater shrimp, from these things, the fruit fly, from these black soldier flies, they are then producing their larvae, which is then going into the feed. This stops the taking out of massive amounts of energy from Lake Victoria, from the amena and things like that, which are then fed to animals as high-end protein. These black soldier flies are fed from that. And this is something very simple, from a little bit of your peel from your from the beetroot and from the water from the chickpeas. In large scale, it obviously makes a massive difference and it equals a bigger change. But every single person can do and have something. The second thing we do is, if it's not a large enough scale, or it's not quite the right thing for the black soldier flies to be able to process and digest, we have a biodigester. This is a very simple, actually fairly simple aspect, where the food that we have and the waste food we do have and create goes into this biodigester, which in turn produces gas, which we then use in the cooking of the other things. So in that, we end up reusing and recycling our organic waste in that manner to then actually have gas to cook on, as opposed to purchasing it. The other product from that is you end up with fertilizer, liquid fertilizer, which you can then use, which then again goes back to the environment and moves us forward. It's a sustainable and very easy way of doing things. And as Dr. Ayub said, it's, yes, these waste collecting systems and people find it difficult because from most households or from industries or anywhere, the waste is mixed. It is not kept separate. And we find that a very big issue for the waste people find that a very big issue. To then try and separate it costs that much more that it's easier just to put it into landfill. So if it is kept separate, it would then be able to be used in more influential ways, like through the black soldier flies or into a biodigester or into specific composters that these bigger companies can then set up. It's something very simple and very different, but you know, it's an easy recipe, which the lack of wastage from it is a fantastic little side difference. And it aids not only because it's vegetarian, but it actually aids in the production of meat and things, but in a sustainable and viable aspect in the circular energy in that. Yeah, thank you very much.
Nice one, Graham. That's really cool. Can I just ask you before you leave, what have you done? Obviously, you know, COVID has affected a lot of companies like yours, and a lot of people have struggled in many ways when it comes to catering and entertainment. What have you done that's different because of COVID?
Yeah.
What have changed?
We've actually, we're now, well, with no catering, we've had to change and look forward to doing something different. And in that, we're looking at starting our training facility, which we've now started, which means that we're looking at training people to be able to be more sustainable, more this, but also training them in the kitchen. So with cooking courses, with hygiene courses, and things like that, which we've always had and we've always had to do ourselves, but it's never been done so much in everybody's individual homes. And so for us, it's something that I'm passionate about. I've done a lot of in my life, and now it was a push forwards with COVID. There's no catering happening, right? How do we move forwards? How can we be better? How can we change mindsets and things that can then still work for us?
Impressive, man.
Thank you.
Impressive. Very cool. Thanks, Graham. That's super amazing.